Hello, hello, it's me, Alita, and welcome to Technique Tuesday, where today we're going to talk about making stars. So one of the things to do and the things to think about, especially if you're doing like a galaxy painting or something where you want to create some really great stars in the sky, I got a couple different ones going on here, is thinking about your background color. So the darker that you have, the darker your background color is, the brighter those stars are going to look like. So sometimes we have this feeling like we want the stars to be brighter. We keep trying to put lighter things around it when in reality, you actually need to make it darker behind. So first of all, get your galaxy colors, all those dark colors that you want to do of your night sky before you start with your stars. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to use a brush, and I use a pretty little brush, something like this with a nice point on it. And I'm going to go through, now I've got my palette here with a lot of different colors, but I think the important thing to think about is the white and the gold. Those are really the only two colors that I'm going to use for making my stars. And you can do a couple different things. Sometimes with just my end of my brush, I kind of grab a little bit from the white, and then I come across and grab a little on the edge with my gold. So I don't know if you can see that there. There's a teeny bit of white and then a teeny bit of gold, and they're on there together. And then all you do is just doing a little bit of a tap, tap, tap along the way. So I'm gonna come through here, and anywhere I can kind of press my brush down, it's gonna create some nice little, and I'm doing them in different sizes. So depending on how much you push on your brush will dictate the size of the star. Now, if I wanna make a star a little bit brighter, like I've got a couple of them here. I don't know if you guys can see, I'll try to turn it so you guys can see in here, bring this a little bit closer. One moment. Okay, so if you wanted to create more of this type of a star that has a little bit of a glow to it, you're gonna actually just do your dot, no gold, but just with your white. So I'm just gonna do my dot here in the middle. And then I'm just barely, like kind of wipe your brush off a little bit so it doesn't have a ton of paint on it. And I'm just gonna come up for a little thing on the top, and I'm gonna go off to the side and to the side, and then I'm gonna bring it down to make almost like a little cross. And that's gonna kind of give it that feeling. Like this part I got a little carried away. Little spit, we'll get rid of it right there. A little water, actually. So if you just dip your hand in water and kind of get rid of it, you don't want it to be, there we go. But you really are just kind of creating this little dot in the middle, and then a little, like almost a cross on the top and the bottom and the sides. So another one like here, I might give a little dot here, and I want to make this one again. I can come in with a light coming up the top, and then over to the side and the side, like this, and then a little bit coming down. And that makes it look a little bit more glowy. If you can see in the center here where I made like a really big star, it was the same thing. I started with a dot with white here in the middle, and then I came through and I added little rays coming out. But the main thing to remember on something like this to get that glowing effect is that you really need to have your darker colors behind so that it can make sure that the white then looks even more vibrant. I like doing a combination of gold and white just because that gives a little bit of a sparkle. So in different light, you're gonna get with the gold where it will actually sparkle. And the white is just so contrasting against that dark background. So these are just things to think about. Again, I load my brush, small brush. I use a little bit of the white and a little bit of the gold together. And I'm just kind of tapping on, no water. I don't use any water with my brush when I do that. I just get the gold and the white together. So like this. And then I'm just coming through and giving like some little dots and kind of pressing with my brush different sizes. So I don't let them, they're not all the same. and giving them some random patterns so that we're not having them all look like they're super uniform. So I might put a few little tiny guys in here to add a little bunch of stars, and then have some other ones that are spread out so that it looks more like a night sky. And that is just your basics of how you do stars, using white and gold, a small brush, no water, just your paints, giving some little dots around. And for the brighter stars, we add just a slight little T shape or cross shape through the middle to give that radiance outside of it. And that's your technique for today. Don't forget, I'm gonna come on and tell you about the life lesson of stars. So stay tuned for your follow-up life lesson. Hey guys, I'm just here to talk a little bit about the life lesson in regards to creating stars. So I took you through the lesson on our Technique Tuesday on how you would use white and gold also to create these stars, and kind of this galaxy background that we did that is going to really make the stars look illuminated and make those pop. And so thinking about the lesson that you have in life that would also go along with this. And so I think an important thing to always remember is that it's the dark darks that make the brights bright. And that when we go through things in life, sometimes when we're trying to, and I dealt with this on this painting even, when I was trying to work on this orb at the top, and I was really struggling with getting that glowing effect, and I kept putting more yellow and I kept putting more white and I kept trying to make it look brighter. And as I looked at it, I was remembering this saying that I came up with, which was the dark darks make the brights bright. So sometimes in order to get that illumination, to make that something brighter, we really need to create this darkness closer to it. We need to have that contrast. And it's something so important to remember in life, because I think you go along and sometimes when you're going through something really hard, or you're like, man, this is such a difficult time, we forget that it's these times that help us to really appreciate then when we're in a place of where it's more lit and more beautiful and more glowing. And that we wouldn't appreciate the glowing times as much. We wouldn't appreciate those good times quite as much as if we didn't go through some hard times. And so like in reflecting in my own life, my own personal life, and kind of going back and saying, man, I've gone through some really big tragedies. I've gone through some really hard times. I've had a loss in a marriage. We know I went through that. I've had a lot of friends and family members who've passed away. I've gone through times where even in friendships of betrayal, or times where I've had big disappointments in my career or big disappointments in my own life. And I'm reminded that when I'm going through this time, when I'm going through the hard times, to just remind yourself it's the dark darks that make the brights bright. And imagine being in a really dark tunnel and you finally come out and you can just see the little tiny light at the end of the tunnel. And when you come out, even if it's an overcast day and it's not even super bright, it's so intense because you have come out of this dark place. And so I just want to encourage you and to remind you that just put it in perspective, that you, when you're going through a hard time, embrace it, because that is going to be this contrasting thing that when you go through, when you get out of it, and you'll get through it, when you get to the end and you're about to move into a different space in your life and you're going to have some bright experiences, they'll be that much brighter. And you'll be grateful. You'll be so grateful for those times that were hard. So don't lose hope or get down. I want you to just encourage you and know that you will get through it, and that it's going to be that star in those moments in your life that are so much sweeter and that are so much more intense, and the brightness of your life is going to be so much better because of what you've gone through. So stay strong, and remember, it's the dark darks that make the brights bright. And so sparkle sparkle, sparkle, sparkle is coming your way and the brightness is coming your way. Just stay strong and know that it's going to be so much more illuminated in your life when you experience it. Okay, and that is your Technique Tuesday. Stay tuned for next week when we'll be talking about our next lesson, both about art and about life. I'm Alita. Follow me on my Just Alita Art Instagram. Also check out alitaart.com as my website, and follow me along on Just Alita Art here on YouTube. And take care. Ciao. Don't forget, oh yeah, that's right. Don't forget that you're a 10, you're a 10, you're a 10. Don't let anybody tell you differently, because you are amazing.